So you left us with this cliffhanger earlier with the Churchill story. What ended up happening?
Churchill went back to his core value. What am I here to do? I'm here to protect England. My job is not primarily to protect France. That's not good news to the French, I realize. I'm not primarily here for that purpose. I'm here to protect England. So Churchill made the most controversial decision of his entire leadership, and he bombed the French fleet. 1,300 Frenchmen died. The entire fleet was destroyed. So British planes went and bombed the French fleet and destroyed it so the Nazis wouldn't get it. And this was grievous, this was terrible, but the next day, Churchill went to Parliament. He explained it to the nation, explained it to Parliament, got a standing ovation. It rallied the British people, and again, we were talking about action. People saw him willing to act. Yes, I'm willing to destroy what I have to destroy. I'm willing to kill if necessary. That's what a war is. We don't want to celebrate killing, but that's what a war is. I'm willing to do what I have to do to win this war. And then he basically said, what are you willing to do? So action was its own message, and then he rallied the country. But you can imagine the controversy. Now, where Churchill failed in this area, it's an interesting little study in communication. Remember, Churchill is the master wordsmith, and Kennedy said he sent the English language into battle, during that time. But what Churchill didn't do was use a brief slogan to describe this particular episode. It's one thing he failed to do. He usually did it. So the French, in their anger, said, "This is our Pearl Harbor." And that has lived down through history and is often quoted. Churchill gave no counter slogan. I know that sounds odd, but he gave nothing to galvanize. It would have been easy to do. In fact, what he often did was give people credit for something that wasn't really their credit. Typical of Churchill would have been if he had said, "Well, this is the French protection of British liberty. This was the French sacrifice that guaranteed British liberty." Even though the French were opposing it for the most part, but that still would have given them credit for something that ultimately helped save the war. They were mad. He provided no counter narrative that sold the French, and so they said, "This is our Pearl Harbor." And you now have books written about this.
Wow.
That caused a problem. So Churchill did not do something he normally did when it came to the slogan, but his rationale was clear, and overall his leadership. Again, this is a morally questionable decision. It's a gray area. Not everybody agrees to this day, but he effected a victory with it by calling the nation forward. And when they saw their prime minister articulating it, he gave them a map. He acted decisively. It rallied the country.